Good afternoon and thanks for coming along. Hopefully you'll walk away with some new knowledge. So firstly, a little bit about me. My name's Rob. As I said, I'm co-founder of Finally. Finally is a full service marketing agency. We're based down in Kent and we support particularly engineering and manufacturing companies, and really we're looking to help them to grow their businesses. And the way we do this predominantly is through helping them to generate more leads of a higher quality, but also to retain customers through ensuring that marketing and sales alignment are all working, particularly in this digital age. So why LinkedIn? You all raise your hand, you've all got profiles. So we all understand that it's a really powerful medium, particularly more so than ever. The kind of last 24 months has accelerated that growth. And actually the numbers are quite staggering. So between 2019 and 2020, there were 86 million users added to LinkedIn's network, which isn't a poor amount of people. I'd be happy if I had a platform and 86 million users on it, particularly if they pay me £1 each. But as you can see, just Q1 of 2021, there was the best part of 66 million users added, and they haven't released the data yet for the rest of 2021, but I've no doubt that continued. And the growth was astronomical, and obviously the pandemic, yes, accounted for some of that, but also I think the way that LinkedIn has become a very different platform. I think there's an acceptance now that it's a social network, and it doesn't have to be a jobs board, and you'll get a few people, the police there, that like to say, oh, it's not Facebook, don't post that, and that's totally wrong. They're the ones in the wrong, because it is a social platform and we're there to be social. So just some other kind of numbers that I just found incredible when I started to look into this. There were 55% increase in conversions from 2020 through 2021, and the actual amount of content that's now been created on LinkedIn is just growing day by day. 60% increase there. Obviously they added LinkedIn Live. I don't know if any of you have had a go at applying to that. I tend to do a LinkedIn Live every Tuesday at 12 o'clock, and I talk about HubSpot and other benefits of digital platforms, and it's quite a surreal thing. I don't know if any of you have done a live show where it's just you, like I sit in a room by myself with cameras and lights pointing at me, and I just start talking and think, oh, I hope someone out there is watching. And thankfully people say that they're useful, and they're all stored on YouTube, so they kind of live on. Because that is one downside to LinkedIn, is that all this content's been created, but actually it kind of dies on LinkedIn a lot, because if you don't sit in your feed at that particular time, or it's not kind of getting the engagement that the algorithm wants to pick up, it's kind of going to just die in your feed. And unless people are particularly like coming to your page and checking your posts out, that work goes to waste to some degree. So it's about thinking about when you're creating content, where else can you utilize that? And I'll talk a little bit about that some more later. So again, more reasons for why LinkedIn, because there are over 756 million members and growing, but they're all across the world, and I know that many of you will do business across the world. We're lucky enough to work with a lot of people in the UK, but we do some stuff around Ireland and the Middle East and across Europe, and so we're already touching a small part of that world, but there are many more millions of people out there that you can reach, and this gives you a platform to reach those people. So how do we reach those people? That's the key question. That's what we all want to know the answer to. So I guess there are a few things that you can all do just to kind of give yourselves the best shot. The first thing is getting your profile in order. A lot of people kind of just waste all this space, and so the top of your profile is the kind of 3 key elements. So really maximize the header image. People see that a lot. You've got an opportunity to really tell people instantly what you do. How do you help them? What can you do to add value to them? We obviously also run the Finally Engine Room, which is an educational hashtag where we give away tons of free marketing advice every day. So if you're not already following us, just go onto LinkedIn, search hashtag Finally Engine Room and give that a follow. Create your own hashtag for your business, for your industry sector. They're totally free. All you've got to do is be consistently posting against that hashtag and getting people to talk about that hashtag and share it. Gradually they'll start to follow it. Profile image, again, these just need to be a really clean, clear, nice profile shot. You know, we've been at exhibitions where we actually take headshots for people and let them use them. You know, you'll see a lot of people using the kind of bright backgrounds like mine there on the orange, just to try and stand out. You've got to remember that when these profiles are used in different places across LinkedIn, so when you're commenting or when people are searching on their mobile, these start getting smaller and smaller. So it's about how do you kind of just, when someone's scrolling through that feed, how do you stand out? Making a nice bright colour gives you an opportunity to be a little bit different. And I know, you know, people use their company colours, people use just completely neutral colours. I think part of that, if I'm honest, was taken from the kind of Twitter feeling when people got that blue badge. It was like they're an official celebrity. So I'm trying to start that as in orange, just so that everyone thinks that all these celebrities are in orange, but it's just me so far. And then your description. The number of people I see that just waste this description is incredible. Again, this is probably seen more than any other part of your profile, because every time you comment, people see the beginning of that description. So you, again, have to tell people straight away what you do or how you add value, not just that you're, you know, MD or sales director, because frankly, they don't really care at that point. Of course, add that, you know, it's something because people want to know who they're talking to at the end, but certainly in that first beginning, try and get something across. You know, what do you do? You know, how do you add value? So you know, I say that I work with engineering manufacturing companies to generate more sales and leads. You know, they know what I'm trying to do and how I can help them, and they'll see that consistently throughout the platform. The next part that you need to look at is your featured section. Again, massively underutilized. This is an opportunity for you to add things that aren't even on LinkedIn. So you can add, here in my example, there are 2 links to case studies on our website. So if someone clicks that, they're going to be taken straight to our website and see a great case study. You can add white papers, you can add downloads, you can add sale brochures. You know, you can pin your top performing posts. So the one that you can just see off the right is me talking about why I have a website. I think I was just ranting one morning in my office and recorded it, and it happened to get a lot of engagement, so I pinned it there for more people to see. But people will come here and they're trying to understand a little bit about who you are, and you need to help them on that journey. So if you've got a great case study, or if you've got some, you know, really interesting white papers, pin them to the top and let them get access to them straight away without them having to actually hunt for them. And then finally, the about section. Again, people kind of want to give this bio and tell people all about, you know, their history, and I'm sorry to say that we're all like time sensitive people, and we don't particularly care, more so in the beginning stages of a relationship. You know, if we meet each other in person, we don't start wanging off our whole life history about, you know, oh, I went to this school, I went to that school, and I did this. You know, it's just not normal. So we don't want to do it here either. So, you know, want to, again, what do you do? How do you add value to that potential prospect or customer? And then, like, I use a couple of little testimonials just to back that up, because we're massive believers in you know, the saying "show not tell," and that's, lots of people want to tell you how good they are and tell you that they're the best company since sliced bread. The reality is they're going to make their own minds up for that, and other people will help them with that. So by using, you know, customer testimonials and referrals, that's going to become far better, because that's not me saying it, you know, that's Richard Kingsbury saying it, it's Andrew James saying it. And then actually tell people who you work with, because we do other talks around, you know, we call it alienate to accelerate. There is no point trying to appeal to 100% of a market, because you're never going to appeal to them all. So understand who you actually will appeal to, and if that's 2% of your market, amazing. Forget the other 98%. It doesn't matter. If you focus on that 2%, you will grow far quicker, because you're actually going to be writing content that's relevant to them. They're going to appreciate that, and you will do far better. So we say it there. You know, we work with engineering and manufacturing companies, typically with a turnover between 3 to 100 million. So if they're not within that bracket, that's not to say I won't talk to them. I'm not a horrible person, you know, I'll talk to anybody. But fundamentally, that's where we accelerate. That's where we work best, and so they kind of know that straight off the bat. So, as I said, you cannot be all things to all people, and I see so many people really trying that, like, oh, we'll work with anyone. But that doesn't help them to actually work with you. Then next, we have to have a strategy to attract our audience. And so we've built our profile, we've got everything in order. Now we need to apply that strategy. And what I like to call this strategy is an always on approach. So we're all animals of kind of, we repeat what we do, and we're always on the go, and we're now more than ever connected everywhere you go. I guarantee all of you have got a mobile phone in your pocket. I'd like to guess that at least 90% of you have got LinkedIn app on it, and I'm sure you've probably checked it while you've been here, when you're on the train, when the traffic light's red. Maybe you're not meant to do that. But you know, we're always looking because we're always on, we're always connected, we're always thinking, and the data backs that up. You know, 69% of people are researching a product or a service during their weekday, but 73% are researching that in the evenings. So they haven't got time in the day because they've got the job to do. So you know, they go home, they get the kids sorted, they have dinner, and then some boring TV comes on. They don't want to watch it, so they sort of sit there. Or maybe I'm just talking about me, but you know, that's what we do: hide in the corner and start doing research. It's a great time. And 51% are doing that at the weekend. LinkedIn is actually quite an active platform at the weekend. Some of my best posts have been Saturday posts, and they've absolutely nothing to do with work, I can assure you. Me out on my bike, you know, me with my kids, because again, I'm building up a relationship. I'm letting people know who I am and how I add value, and also that I'm real and I'm human. You can trust me, you can like me, hopefully, you know, because I have a normal life like everybody else. So I can never sleep. No, obviously that isn't the case. You don't need to do this alone, and I think this is the key. For those of you that have lucky enough to be even in a small team, a team of 2, Logan sitting here, you know, they're a small team in the UK, but they do some great content, and that's all it takes. It's about backing each other up. I'm lucky enough to have a team of 20, so you know, we can do this on a bigger scale. But for me, it's about my wider team, you know, so here's a few of them, and you know, they help me to make noise. They're helping us become recognised in a sector, and that's obviously why I'm stood here today. You know, I've been invited to come and talk to you because people recognise us and what we're doing for this community in this sector. And 30% of a company's engagement actually come from its own employees, and that's, you know, across the board. And again, companies that have 10,000 employees, and you see a post that's got 5 likes, and you're like, how's that work? Why are they not encouraging and getting their communities, their team, to engage with those posts? People say, well, that's a bit weird, surely if your own employees are talking about your posts. But that defeats the object, because those people are connected to different people. You don't know where their network is and how it's going to grow. So you need them to engage, because that's bringing the company posts, or say my posts, into a wider network. And honestly, guys, it works. This is the sort of stuff that we're putting out, you know, and this is my team. You know, we're producing free content, you know, trying to help people to understand how to use their website, or, you know, what you should do differently, or how to use LinkedIn, or what's the best time to post, what's the strategy. We have the Engine Room, as I mentioned, which is, you know, a growing community where we interview people across this sector. We get to show them, you know, to a different, wider network that maybe they're not connected to. We send out a weekly newsletter to, you know, hundreds of subscribers that want to find out about industry news, and also spotlights of different companies. Not ours, nothing to do with us. That's just, you know, an added bonus for us that our brand gets recognised. But actually, we're doing this for the community. And what's that led to? Well, my last count, more than 1.7 million views on our content in 12 months, and that cost me nothing. Bit of time, bit of energy. You know, I haven't paid for that, but we've been seen by over 1.7 million people, and that's had a massive knock-on effect, because you can see the likes of some of these posts: 25,000 people, 30,000 people, you know, 7,000 people. This is lots of people that are viewing your posts. And as I've said, that's me on my bike in 5 AM somewhere in Kent, you know, just talking about the fact that actually I had a pretty rubbish week the week before, and I'd been avoiding going out on my bike, and I was annoyed with myself, and I finally got out, and I just posted to say, do you know what, we all have crap days, and you know, do something that you enjoy. And for me, that's going out there on my bike and having some time to myself. And that's the point about building that relationship and showing people who you are. It doesn't matter that it's not Facebook. I don't post on Facebook, I don't use it at all. And it's okay to be human on LinkedIn, because it is a social platform, whether they like it or not. What else can you do in that strategy? Well, become a thought leader. All of you are experts in what you do. And when we get to work with new customers, it's unbelievable the amount of knowledge that people hold. They just don't even appreciate that they know themselves. It's about getting people to have a conversation. Suddenly, they're talking about what they like, and it all unravels. So do that yourself in different forms of content. You know, start when you're driving around and you're a bit bored, get your phone on voice note and just like talk to yourself, like talk about what you know. Imagine someone's asked you a question like, "Hi Rob, tell me a little bit about what you do to help businesses grow," and then just talk back. And then you can turn that into a blog for yourself or an article, or if you're comfortable on camera, you know, stand in front of the camera and talk, you know. Get involved in things like the Engine Room. There are loads of great people doing videos and podcasting. I've just been on a podcast in this exhibition myself. And it's about just putting yourself out there to kind of become known, because ultimately you've all got an opinion and it's a valid opinion, and so it should be shared, particularly in your community. You know, hopefully some of you may have seen the Manufacturing UK Top 10, something that we produce every Wednesday. I was doing it on the train this morning on the way up, and that's just where we collate the top 10 posts that have been engaged upon in this sector over the past 7 days. But that again is just sharing knowledge and kind of connecting and building that wider network, and that post is getting 8, 10, 20,000 views every single week, and bringing other people together, and if them all connecting, people will do business together. So what does it mean for your business? This is the sort of stuff that happens to us every single day, pretty much. You know, people are asking to speak to us. I'm not ringing anybody. You know, people are, you know, saying that they've heard good things about us, or, you know, they've seen what we were up to at the Engine Room, or thanks for all the free advice. And, you know, they come to you, and that's not instant business. You know, it's about an opportunity to talk. I don't know, but everyone's business is very different. But for us, you know, it might take 3-4 months before we actually start to work with people, because they've got to go through different processes, or they've got to check out if they actually think marketing's going to work. You know, some people it's a year. Actually, that particular meeting that was booked, we're still not working with that gentleman, but we've become actually quite good friends over the past 12 months. I've done a few things for him for free. You know, we've had a coffee and a chat, and I'm 99% certain that will lead to some work in the future. But I don't need to push that fact, because it's just about building that relationship. You know, we bumped into each other at a recent exhibition, and we had a really great time. So how do you put that into action? This is our take on it. Feel free to take a photo, or you can download these slides from our website at the end of the show. But you know, we talk about a four-day plan. So on Monday we talk about hello, I exist, and that's kind of some of those points there. You know, your personal news or a problem you've overcome, maybe something's gone really badly. You know, you're just kind of waving and saying, hey, we're here, this is who I am. On Tuesday, it's about like showing you're relevant. How are you relevant to that audience that you're building? You know, share some industry news, or, you know, talk about a recent policy, or, you know, maybe, you know, the government have announced grants for the new boiler systems. If that's got anything to do with you, talk about it. You know, be relevant, be on topic. On Wednesday, let's start talking about why you're good at what you do. So, but this is showing, not telling. So this is getting someone else to do this for you, ideally. You know, a testimonial, an interview of a client, you know, maybe a problem-solving case study where you're showing how you have added value or solved a problem for somebody else. Maybe make a cool infographic that could become something that's shared by others. And then on Thursday, it's about the ask, because ultimately, I'm not saying you've got to give absolutely everything away. At some point in the journey, you need to ask the question, okay? I'm a salesman at heart as well. We've got to actually sell. And so Thursday, you know, we say, do you want to know some more? Here's a cool guide, or sign up to our Engine Room newsletter and build some engagement with us. You know, book a free consultation with us. You know, find out about how we do videos. And then Friday isn't on here for those of you that are good at counting. And that's because Friday, top secret, is a bit of a bomb day on LinkedIn. Okay, so I think we all go off to the pub early, whatever it might be. So what I like to use Friday for, and what we recommend, is that's a great opportunity for you to share other people's posts. Your competitors, sounds crazy, but we talk about our competitors all the time, because they're not really our competitors, and we help each other. Share post. Again, Logan, I'll pick an example. They do some really cool things on Friday. I like to share that on a Friday if I've got nothing else, because it helps them, but also it's just promotion for everybody. So Friday for me is sharing day. You know, find somebody else that's got something really cool or done something and share it, but always add a little value to the top. Why have you chosen that? You know, like, here's something that I found really interesting, a really great article by this person. I wanted to share this into my network. They'll appreciate it, and your network will appreciate it. So ultimately, that leads you on to being able to connect with people. You need to connect with people, then you need to engage with those people, and then start a conversation. Don't do connect conversation. You'll probably all get it, the classic instant pop-up, because it's either been automated or you know, they've got this predefined message is like, thanks for connecting. Do you want to buy these services from me? Do you do that here? You don't like walk in and like shake hand, here's my business card, so I've got this, this and this for sale, it's £10,000, would you like to buy it? We don't do that, but for some reason we want to do it online. So connections are key. LinkedIn have just limited this. So some people you're going to see with like massive networks and you'll think, how do they get to that? Unfortunately, that's going to be harder to achieve now. You can follow people and that still builds a network, but the physical connection has been limited to 100 per week. So to my end, that means you need to make those connections count, because the LinkedIn algorithm actually works in kind of, they call it the power hour, or, you know, and that means that when you post, you need to get engagement on that post as fast as you can. The more engagement you get, the wider it will be pushed, and then it will keep going. Otherwise, low engagement posts will start to die down the feed and be lost. So those 100 connections are going to see your posts, so make those connections quite relevant. You know, don't build your network of people that are irrelevant to you, you know. Make sure that they're important people. Fundamentally, you need to create good content, because if you want to create content, people are going to want to see it. You know, if you're just talking rubbish, frankly, I don't blame them. They're not going to want to follow you and watch it. And then start a conversation, but remember to be human. Ask them how they are. Say, oh, I saw that post that you wrote, it was really interesting, like tell me some more, because that's a human way of doing things. Become really engaged. And I mean genuine, like don't just do it for the sake of it. Like, these are people that you want to work with potentially, or you want to build supplier relationships with, so you need to build a relationship. So start commenting on posts, start liking their posts, tag people in your network that you would see as relevant. Don't spam them, and spend about 30 minutes a day. I like to do, for me personally, I get to the office about 8:30 most days, it's quiet, none of my staff are in, and I spend the first half an hour just going through liking and commenting on other people's posts. It's my kind of time to give back and start to build and engage, and I'll reap the rewards of that. And then fundamentally, yes, this is a digital platform, and yes, we're going to build these connections, but don't be afraid to take these conversations offline. Ultimately, we are all here to generate sales for our companies, and you can only do that by having an offline conversation. So don't be afraid to ask the question when you think it's the appropriate time, or they might ask you. Most of the time I'm asked, oh okay, you know, I like what you're doing, and how do we go forwards? Have a meeting link. If you haven't got one, HubSpot, I love HubSpot, get a free portal, it'll give you a free link. Calendly, for those of you, you know, there are tools out there. Don't have that back and forth conversation where you go, I've got slot 10 till 12 Wednesday, 2 till 3 Friday. By the time they reply, they're booked. It's a nightmare. Just send them a link, say, look, book into my diary when it suits you. Always have something relevant and valuable to offer. So, you know, we've got loads of content, guides on websites or downloads, how to speed things up, and you can ask people a question. You go, look, hey, I've noticed your website's got, you know, a few issues. Would you like to read my guide? And more often than not, they'll go, oh yeah, thanks very much. Obviously, that's not going to be relevant for everybody, but there'll be something that you can produce that will help your prospect or customer, and let them have it for free. And always help and never sell. You'll hear loads of people say it in different ways, but truthfully, that is the way to do good business. So I want to ask you for a moment, you know, think about why your existing customers actually chose you. Why did they want to work with your companies? I'd argue it's because they trusted you. They built trust with you, and that would have been through meeting you in person, that would have been a conversation that you've had on the telephone. But fundamentally, through working with you, getting to know you, understanding, talking to your previous customers, they're going to start to build trust. And that's why they chose you ultimately, because they believe in you, they believe in what you do, and they trust you. So just because you're behind a screen, there's no excuse not to build that trust. You've got to build that trust exactly the same way you would in human form, but just using the digital platform. So just be yourselves, you know, put great content out there, engage with your community, and I promise you, if you get you and the rest of your team to help you along the way, you're going to start generating loads of inquiries for free.